morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back, guys. Oh, take it back in the day. Take it back in the day. That's right. Oh, that's right. Oh. Good morning, y'all. Sunday morning. What are you doing right now? Look, another hour, we're just gonna be going into the afternoon. But I'm here. Live on Facebook and YouTube. It's been a lot going on. Per usual. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, guys. Oh, you in church? That's what's up. I got I got a lot of stuff good to talk about today. Let me go turn this music off. Okay, guys. So let's do the announcements. I haven't quit my job yet. Can I get a round of applause? I haven't quit, y'all. It didn't drive me crazy just yet. I'm still on the brink of insanity, but I'm still there. Okay, yes, catch the replay. Thank you. So, yes, guys, I'm still there. Still marching up them 4 flights of steps. I'm telling you, I said, I should be down 50 pounds already. Seriously. 4 flights of steps all day. Going back and forth. But like, okay, obviously I'm being funny. But no, my thighs feel crazy right now. You know, like I never can feel normal anymore as far as my body. Like it's always just all tight and tense. I'm like, what the heck, you know? So I'm just looking at the positive perspective. I'm like, girl, you getting that workout in, so them results about to be popping soon, you know? So I'm gonna just keep my focus there, and I focus on the pain in my body. So if you saw the title, do you have realistic expectations, or do you think everything should be perfect from the start? Let's run that back. Do you have realistic expectations, or do you think everything should be perfect from the start? A lot of us are this way. So don't be coming up in here like, no, I don't be thinking that. Yes, you do. No, I'm playing. It may not be you, but it's the person behind you, it's the person next to you, it's the person in front of you. Somebody in here, besides myself, have this issue. But you know what? I'm gonna put my foot halfway in and halfway out, because I'm working on myself, and so I'm like, there may be times where this problem peeks its head, you know, in the window a little bit, where I will second guess myself and be like, I don't know, you know, should we venture onto this? Like, we don't know. Cause see, I get very awkward and uncomfortable in situations where I don't know, like if there's totally 100% ignorance or enough ignorance on my point where like I feel awkward about doing something, that is not a good recipe for me to want to go and try it, because it's one of my pet peeves. But it's like, no one knows anything. No one's born just knowing anything. Everything you start at ignorant knowledge and then you learn. So it's like, to be stuck in that type of mindset, it's a disaster, because how are you going to go into anything when, you know, you're going to always be starting from the ground up? And let me just tell you, it can be stupid stuff, okay? It don't even have to be like big things. Like if I'm walking in an office setting and there's like a fax machine or so, and I'm like, oh shoot, wait, what these buttons right here? Okay, wait a minute, all right. Then I start getting in my head like, dang, I feel like I should know how to do this, you know? So like, I'm judging myself. No one's paying me no freaking mind, okay? And that's the thing. We think other people watching us. We think other people all in our world, and they don't be. They got their own stuff going on, and now here you are judging yourself, about to have a full-on anxiety attack over something stupid when you could just tap the next person like, you know how to do this, but isn't this button right here? But it's like, you don't be wanting to feel stupid or feel like, okay, you know, and you're making a big deal out of something that's so basic. Or is it just me? No, it ain't just me. I'll be doing the same thing. So, do you have realistic expectations, or do you think everything should be perfect from the start? So we can bring so many examples out. Okay, let's start with my favorite one, because y'all already know I'm on the workout journey. So even when it comes to working out, if you're someone, what's up, Lawrence? If you're someone who is not a fan of working out, and so you already wasn't really wanting to go to the gym in the first place, you go that first time, your body ain't really done nothing in years, so you waking up a whole bunch of muscles that ain't been woken up in years. Listen, that's going to be a horrible day one. And if you use that experience that you just had to determine you going back the rest of the week, you're going to fail before you start. So like, you need not do that, okay? Day one is not going to be how it's going to be day 10. It's not going to be how it's going to be day 30. Day one always sucks. So you can't think that everything's going to be perfect from the start, okay? Let's say you want to set up your own podcast. You're like, you know what? I got so many good things to talk about. If you want to just talk in general, or maybe there's a specific topic that you want to pursue, but you know, you're like, dang, I don't really know. Again, your first podcast is probably not going to look like your 50th podcast, because by then you start learning, you know, new tweaks and, you know, playing around with stuff. You got a better flow now, you know, things of that nature. So don't judge yourself that very first podcast. You know, it's going to be, especially if you're not a tech person, it's going to be scary. It's going to be intimidating, because you're like, oh my gosh, what if, because see, again, using myself as an example, I'm the person who get nervous about things that I don't have control over. Now, what kind of sense does that make? If I don't have any control over it, then there's nothing I can do about it. But that's the reason why I get nervous, because it's out of my control. I am very much a control freak. Okay, I embrace that title. So things that are on my end, I don't feel as bad about, because like, okay, I can take care of that. But when it comes to like the technicality, you know, like, is the mic going to start making a sound out of nowhere? Well, I know the cords to fix for it. Is the light going to go off? Is this, you know what I mean? Things that you don't have any control over, things that you don't even know if it's going to happen or not happen. So you might feel nervous about that. But again, it's trial and error. Until you have those hiccups and mistakes, shoot, even the most professional star celebrities be having issues. They come on stage and go to sing, a mic squeak, or, you know, like all kind of stuff. It still happens. It don't matter if they got the top dollar, you know, equipment and all type of stuff. Technical issues is technical issues. So no one is free from it. But the difference is they've been in the game so long that they probably can bounce back a little better. You got to be that person that can walk, and then if they happen to slip and fall, they can play that fall off like, ooh, that was supposed to be on purpose. That was part of the actual performance. Like, you didn't even know that I actually tripped because I landed in such a way that it looked like it was the performance. You know what I mean? So like, you got to get better with being able to kind of just on the spot, not let them see you sweat, so to speak. I am not 100% there in that situation because, listen, if I'm sweating, I don't know, I'm like half and half because y'all might see me, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm a little bit good too. You might not. It's really 50-50. But you just gotta keep going. No matter what, keep going. Don't run off the stage. Don't, like hurry up and hit the end button to the podcast. Like, oh my gosh, it's over. I messed up. I can't believe it. Like, let me quickly stop this live. I can't believe I just said that, or I just did this or whatever. Laugh at it, Be okay with laughing at yourself and, and moving on. There's a lot of ways that you could play things off. But the point is, we can't be feeling like perfection is going to start at the beginning. And guess what? It might be that you have that kind of luck. You just that darn thorough that you do start off perfect and like everything just be happening, like you ain't got no hiccups and all that stuff. But that could be bittersweet because if you don't never have no hiccups and everything going, and then finally when it happened down the road, guess what happens? You're panicked. Why? Because you haven't experienced any of that. So it's actually better, I think, to kind of just get that all out in the beginning. So that way, by the time you get to those more experienced stages, you experience with how to, pick up and move in that type of situation. So how about the fear of what other people think? And a lot of times we don't like to admit it. That's that one issue that I don't know what it is. People just don't like to admit that they actually care about what other people think. It's something about this issue that makes people feel cringe, okay? They won't admit it. I don't care if you got a gun to their head that, man, I could care 0 F's about what anybody got to say about me and this, that, there, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, and you will not convince me otherwise, everyone cares to a certain extent what other people think about them. And I feel like it's nothing wrong with that because, again, it goes to the human experience. Like, why would you want, to, and think about it. And certain times it matters what other people think, depending on what your career choice is. If you're in politics, that's kind of what you're going to live by. You trying to convince people, I'm a good person, I'm this, I'm going to do that. So sometimes you actually have to rely on what your reputation is with the public and other people and things to that nature. But I'm not saying it should matter to the point where you're trying to go out and convince everybody that, no, I'm this way or I'm that way. But what I'm saying is, let's stop pretending and acting like we don't care when we do. Now, I don't have an issue saying that. That's not a problem for me to say, yes, I do care. You know what I mean? However, there are limitations on my care, but I do care what other people think of me. It's not going to stop me from pursuing the things that I want to do. Let me put it that way. So there are times when on my weight journey, and I've shared this with my followers and, for some people who know or don't know, I don't always feel the same way about myself. It may be sometimes that, I might have a day that's not like a really good day for me. So if I'm having a day where I'm not really feeling my best, I'm not really feeling like candy, and I'm more feeling like what the hell, man? Like, I'm still on this journey. Like, come on. Like, I've been doing everything right. I feel like I should have been down at least another 15 pounds. Like, and I'm kind of like pissed off and frustrated, especially if I feel like I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. So like, I'm kind of having a day where I'm just like annoyed, frustrated, all this type of stuff. Sometimes those are not my best days to like try to create content, because first of all, I feel like that energy is going to show through the video. But there has been times that I challenged myself and I've been like, you know what? I said I was going to make a video this day, so I'm going to make the video this day. Like, regardless of how I feel, I'm just going to be consistent and disciplined and not let my mood or the way how I feel about myself affect the bigger picture, because my mood shifts, you know, sometimes frequently, and if I just go off of my mood, it would be very inconsistent as far as, you know, my putting stuff out if I'm just going to rely on my mood. So that's not actually like a great thing to go off of. So if I feel this way, then I may interpret that, okay, if I feel like that this don't look right here, or that don't look right there, then somebody else is going to think that too. You know, because if I see it, that means that they see it. You know what I mean? So like, you start putting stuff in your head and you start letting how you feel, you know, rub off onto other people, even though they don't even know anything that you got going on with yourself. And if I was to sit and ruminate in those feelings too long, then those days when I'm feeling like that, I would never put anything out. So not caring what other people might think is so powerful, because if not, it will hold you back. And sometimes the other person is yourself. How crazy is that? So even when I'm sitting here saying not caring what other people think, meaning outsiders, sometimes I have to care what other people think, being my own self. I have to go against that bad person on my shoulder that's whispering in my ear saying, girl, you really about to do that? You know, that kind of go crazy. You sure? You sure about that? All right, yeah. And I gotta like get that person off my shoulder and be like, listen, I don't care what you're saying, how you're trying to make me feel. I'm gonna still go ahead and do what I want to do, and you know, and push through. And so that, I feel like, is one of my stronger points as of lately, at least in the last 2 years or so. I have been very much pushing through my own negative thoughts and my own negative opinions of myself when I have those moments, and just being able to whatever my own self. And it's like, if I cannot care what my own self think about me, then I can darn sure not care what an outsider might think in the moments where, you know, it's going to hold you back. So we have to, you know, get strong in that area, especially if like I said, especially if it's stopping opportunities because we're feeling insecure. You know, you just got to keep going. You just have to keep pushing through, because who knows what your next level is going to look like in any category if you're allowing imaginary thoughts that you don't even know if this is how they really feel. And even if it is, you know, what they think is not the end all be all for your situation. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about obstacles, like not taking stuff personally. Because sometimes we get feedback, and if you're an extra sensitive person like myself, sometimes it's very, very hard to not take things personally. And you have to really ask yourself, is this a situation where someone is trying to just be critical, be mean, you know, like all this type of stuff? Or is there really like something I can learn from this? Is this actually a learning experience? You know, so don't be so quick when it comes to criticism, especially when it's positive criticism, to take everything so personal, especially if it's things that you can grow from. And there's a saying that I love, which is about how it goes, chew the meat and spit out the bone. So sometimes you're not even going to always like everything somebody says or even agree with everything, but you take away the points that you do resonate with you. So those points you take, and the others, let them to the side. So chew the meat, spit the bones. You know what I mean? Because you can learn a little bit of something from everyone, you know. So another point I wanted to hit when it comes to obstacles, a lot of obstacles you're going to either accept or you need to reject. So an example is if you are, again, trying to be on this low weight loss journey or whatever, some obstacles you may need to reject is certain foods. Maybe for a little while you say, okay, I'm going to do this diet or whatever the case is. So right now I need to stay away from either these things altogether or really cut back. So these are obstacles that you need to reject. You need to reject this type of food. But then there are obstacles you need to accept. The working out is an obstacle for you, but you actually need to accept this one because this is the one that's going to help you to get ahead. So you need to be able to differentiate. What kind of obstacle is this in front of me? Is this one I need to accept? Is this one I need to reject? If you say, hey, I need to go to night school, I'm working full time, but I want to move further, climb up the ladder, I want to go to night school, it's going to be challenging, I'm going to be tired, I still got to do this, still got to do that, it's an obstacle. But that's an obstacle that you would need to accept to move yourself further in life. Unless it's a situation with drugs and you've missed out on a couple different opportunities because it's been coming up inside of the drug test. Then this is an obstacle stopping you that you need to reject, okay? I know that a lot of people who smoke weed at some point have possibly missed out on an opportunity with a job, you know, because either they got a call back but they didn't even expect that they were. It's happened to me years and years back. I had this situation and it came out, listen, I put this application in like a month, like, or maybe like 3 weeks or something. It was some time, like it wasn't like that week or this, that, and the third, you know, it was a couple weeks. And I was nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, it's probably still in my system, you know, this, that, and the third. And it's a whole story. I'm not gonna get into all of the details, but long story short, it did not work out for me and I was pissed because I was going to be in the hospital, you know, just doing like watching a patient, you know, like somebody who's like on that needs to be watched around the clock, whether it's suicide watch or whatever the case is. So it was like going to be real sweet. And literally the day before I was about to start, because I was hired, like I got the walkthrough, my orientation day. I'm like, what the heck? Like, y'all results come back this late? Cause like y'all should have had my results before y'all gave me the start date, the uniform, like all this stuff. Had me all hype. And then next thing you know, the day before my start, they're like, your results came back and basically don't show up here tomorrow. I'm like, oh, are you serious? I tried to use that whole, I ate a bagel. Cause I remember somebody saying that, like, oh, sesame bagels or something. I was like, listen, I'm gonna say whatever I gotta say. I ate a bagel. That did not work, okay? So, again, if you're doing the night school, this is an obstacle you need to accept to move you further. If you're doing them drugs, that might be an obstacle you need to reject to move you further, so you don't get that denial because it didn't come up, you know, clean. So yes, we have to figure out the obstacles that are in our lives that are holding us back, either because we're not accepting them or because we're not rejecting them. Okay? And then I'm being a little funny, but I'm also being serious. There are sometimes we have what we think are obstacles, and they're not actually obstacles, but you're treating it like it's an obstacle. Okay? One being, you really feeling this girl, or you really feeling this dude. You feel like y'all be joking, y'all energy match, la da 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 da. But the only obstacle is they're married. That's not an obstacle, okay? We can't go around trying to make obstacles that are not actually obstacles. Like, that's just move on. Next part, gotta figure it out. Like, not sitting here like, okay, how can I get rid of this obstacle? That is not a one to reject, okay? You gotta know the difference. There's some you gotta reject, and then there's some that's just move around. It's not an obstacle. Or maybe they got kids, and you like, I really didn't want to deal with no kids. Let me see how I can somehow get them to take their kid and put it on the other parent. Now, obviously I'm being funny, but this stuff really happened. People do stuff like this. No, these are not obstacles that we're talking about. These are things you have to, it just ain't gonna work then, okay? I read a story about two friends. Let's use that word very loosely. They worked at the same job. They were up for the same promotion. This girl actually took her out to lunch, poisoned her, okay? Because she was an obstacle. This is not an obstacle. This was supposed to be your friend, but you wanted that position so bad. You seen her as an obstacle now. And she's an obstacle that we need to get rid of. No, some things you just have to accept, okay? Everything ain't an obstacle that you need to figure out, I gotta do something to get rid of this, okay? So I'm being funny, but I'm being serious, okay? Now that we got that out. So I think that at this point in time, I want to just really shout out everyone that's still in the fight, trying to get their life together, because it's not an easy thing. It's really not. You know, you have people out here that makes it look easy, and sometimes that's because it worked out for them and it is easy for them. And then sometimes it's a facade. It's not even real. You know, they're struggling behind the filters. So I just, definitely want you to give yourself a pat on the back. If you are still here, you are still fighting in this fight of life. There are people, as we know, who decided to go the route of suicide because this life is difficult. And sometimes we don't, always have the resources to talk to other people or feel like that anything that we're going to do is going to change anything. And some of us have fallen into the world of drugs and alcoholism to the point where we're not able to function anymore. What they call it, like a functioning addict or whatever. The people who do have the habit, but they're still able to, survive in the world, still work, this, and the third. And you have the ones who can't function, like they're 100% have been overcome by the drugs and the alcoholism and things to that nature, being stuck in survival mode, having to do these things just to make it through the next day. So, it's definitely real out here, so like I said, if you are still kicking, you're still pushing, you're still in the game of life, you're still trying to get ahead, you're still trying to make a better way for yourself, a better way for your kids, applaud yourself, seriously. At this time, I want to take a time to say a message specifically to the women and the men individually. So to the women, I want to ask you about desire versus value. So it's a lot of women who put a lot of value in being attractive, being beautiful, being sexy. Now, obviously, as a woman, these are all qualities that who wouldn't want to feel this way? Who wouldn't want to feel desirable, feel beautiful, feel sexy? But The problem is when this is the only energy you're leading with. In fact, it's not that you're just leading with it, it's the only thing that you're offering in general. That's the only thing that you walk around feeling, great about is your look. And putting that kind of energy out, whether you're single and you're dating, and my thing that I really want you to know is that if you are, because there are plenty of beautiful women out here and they're struggling, so obviously there's more to it than just bringing the looks. There's more to it. If you're that beautiful and that desirable, boy, it wasn't enough for, whoever you're talking to or being with to stick around and really try to get to know you. They're only hitting you up with the beauty stuff when it comes to sleeping around. Like, y'all can't call and just talk or just hang out if it's not going to result to them coming back, to the bedroom and stuff. So I just want you to kind of just keep in the forefront the way you're presenting yourself, the way that you're coming across, and making sure that you're bringing more to the plate than just your body, especially if the results are not what you're wanting them to be. That means that you need to go in and do something different. To the guys, what I wanted to hit with you guys is not to get into this habit of facing everything alone, not admitting that you need help, struggling in silence, whether it be financially, emotionally, or anything else, because I know there's a very toxic thing from childhood that's been placed on you guys where you gotta be strong. You gotta, can't show emotion, can't this, can't that, and then it leaks into adulthood. And so now you feel inferior or less than if you don't have it together all the time, if you need help, whatever the help may be. And so to get out of the habit of feeling like you have to do it all on your own, that you can't be vulnerable, that you can't be emotional without being called sensitive or gay or what's the other one, beta male, or whatever the crap, all these titles that they'll put on you. I just think that the toxicity into that is something that is obviously, if it's something that you've been doing for a long time and it's in you, it's going to take some rewiring, but it's worth it than to be, again, in a way that's not healthy for you. So that was my message today. I will be back on next Sunday. I had to move it to Sundays because originally it was supposed to be Saturday and Sunday, but it's just gonna have to be Sunday because now it's like my time is all used up Monday through Friday with the working and stuff, and then on Saturday, that's when I use that day to like create all of my content for the week, because I can't do it during the week. I start 6 o'clock in the morning, so, and then I like to put my videos up early in the morning, so it's really no time for me to do it. So like yesterday, I had to sit there and make like 5 videos yesterday, all in that one day, just to cram everything, just so, like I said, I can have my content ready for next week. So I'm already doing that and then trying to put a live into it, doing too much. So yeah, so for now anyway, the Pajama Party podcast is on Sundays. I hope that you got something good out of it, and hopefully you'll enjoy the content coming up next week. Hopefully you guys had a good week this week, and that you'll have an even better week next week. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So Until next time. You guys enjoy your day. All right. So Facebook is done. Now YouTube, I will holler at you. Thanks for watching. All right.